Let's take a look at the mucosa lining the nasal cavity and its continuation with the pharynx. Here we can see the external nares, or nostrils. There's one on the right and one on the left, because of course the nasal cavity is divided by the nasal septum. Air entering the external nares will be warmed and humidified within the nasal cavity, where olfactory receptors are located. The small cavity contained right inside of the nostrils is known as the nasal vestibule. This is the space that's closed off when you plug your nose. The right and left nasal vestibules are continuous with the right and left nasal cavities, which are continuous with the pharynx. The right and left nasal cavities are continuous with a single area called the nasopharynx, the superior-most region of the pharynx. Let's take a closer look at how the nasal cavities are continuous with the nasopharynx. Here we can see the two internal nares, the connections between the right and left nasal cavities to the nasopharynx. Both the nasal cavity and nasopharynx are lined with pseudostratified ciliated columnar epithelium. Taking a look at the entire pharynx, we can see how the nasopharynx is continuous with the oropharynx. The oropharynx is just posterior to the oral cavity. The oral cavity conveys food, fluid, and air into the oropharynx. Both are lined with stratified squamous epithelium. The pharynx is continuous with the laryngopharynx, the inferiormost portion of the pharynx, also lined with stratified squamous epithelium. The laryngopharynx bifurcates. It leads into the trachea anteriorly and the esophagus posteriorly.